always come back.
Josh Hutcherson finally confirmed that there is a Five Nights at Freddy's Part 2 in development, and man, we couldn't be more excited. The ending left us with so many questions.
Can we visit them sometime?
Where do they go from there? Is the second movie similar to the second game? Do the movies even have to follow the game order? We have some theories, so let's get into it. Director Emma Tammy originally said that we would probably focus on tying the second one into the second game, but anything could happen. We'll have to see. So here's what's interesting. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is actually a prequel to the original game. It takes place in 1987, the same year as the Bite of '87. It's implied this is when William Afton committed some of his murders. So if the second movie is just like the second game, it would take place 13 years before the original.
Oh, so we wouldn't see Mike and Abby again?
No, I never said that. In fact, Piper Rubio, the actress who plays Abby, is one of the only confirmed actors in Five Nights at Freddy's 2 on IMDb. She's definitely coming back. It's just a question of how. When she was speaking, Emma Tammy also said that the first movie was tied into the first game. Now, that's true. There is a lot of stuff from the first game in the film, but there's also a lot of stuff from across the series. Vanessa is the perfect example of this. Her character doesn't show up until the 7th game, Help Wanted, and she doesn't wear a security guard outfit until Security Breach. And we don't see William Afton's spring suit death until the 3rd game. Plus, large chunks of the lore changed. In the games, William had 3 children, Michael, Elizabeth, and the crying child. In the movie, he just has Vanessa. And Garrett and Abby don't even exist in the games. Now, I'm not complaining, but the first movie was loosely based on the first game, but more directly adapted from the series as a whole. So, I'd be surprised if the next movie is purely a prequel. For one, I doubt they would do away with the biggest star of the movie, Josh Hutcherson, especially because he confirmed the sequel. He even said, "I'm dying to get back on set," and he's been in contact with Tammy, so I definitely think that we'll see him in the next film. Secondly, the gameplay of the first 3 games is very similar. They're all very good, don't get me wrong, but you're still sitting in a security office trying to stop animatronics the entire time. The second and third games shed a lot of light on the murders, but we also saw a lot of that in the first movie. We even got a shot-for-shot reenactment in some cases. I think it's much more likely that they combine the second, third, and fourth game and create a movie with 2 parallel storylines, one set in the 1980s and one set in the 2020s.
Wait, I haven't played any of the games. What's this mean?
Okay, well, for those of you who have not played any of the games, here's a very quick rundown of games 2, 3, and 4. In game 2, you're playing as a security guard named Jeremy Fitzgerald in 1987. And we know it's 1987 because of his paycheck, and this places it squarely before the first game because they mention the Bite of '87 in the first game.
You used to be allowed to walk around during the day too, but then there was the Bite of '87.
In the course of Five Nights, somebody messes with the animatronics and they start acting strange and aggressive. On the very last night, you find out that
someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right.
Now I wonder who that could be. And it ends with this newspaper clipping stating that the location has been closed. In the third game, you're once again playing as a security guard, but now you're in modern day. Also, you're not at the pizzeria itself, but instead at a haunted house based on the pizzeria.
The attraction opened in like a week, so we had to make sure everything works and nothing catches on fire.
Now, in between each night, there's a mini-game that shows this purple guy, William Afton, murdering children. And then, in the final mini-game, the ghosts of the children attack him and force him into a spring-lock suit where he's trapped. And this is exactly what we see in the movie. The owners of the haunted house find him and bring him to be a part of the attraction because they think that it's just a regular animatronic. And then you spend the rest of the game running from Springtrap and battling hallucinations of the animatronics from the previous games. In the fourth game, you're playing as a child stuck in his bedroom, and you have to run between the closet and 2 hallway doors to keep the animatronics from getting in. Now we know we're in William Afton's house because, let's be real, who else would have these animatronics? In between each night, there's a mini-game featuring a child leading up to his birthday party. Now, this child, known as the crying child, is terrified of the animatronics. He's also bullied by other kids and his own brother. The game ends when his brother pulls a prank on him and he puts his head in the animatronic's mouth. His tears short-circuit the animatronic and cause it to bite down, killing him. This is known as the Bite of '83, which is completely separate from the Bite of '87, by the way.
Jeez, these animatronics really like to bite people.
I know, right? So, there is a lot in these 3 games, but like I said, we already saw a fair amount of these games in the first movie. For example, we don't need to see the spring-lock suit again. So, it makes the most sense to combine these 3 games to tell a better, more well-rounded story. So, I think they should keep the location of the third game. Fazbear Frights is the perfect blend of familiar and different. It feels connected, but not stale. And, just like Five Nights Nights at Freddy's 3 takes place 30 years after the original game, the movie could too. The original movie was set in 2000. We know that from the security footage here. So the new movie could be set in 2025 or 2026, whichever year it's released. Now, MatPat over at The Game Theorist posed this great theory about Michael Afton in the games.
Over time, Mike worked his way through the old restaurants, the original pizzeria, the bigger, better Freddy Fazbear's. He spent weeks there looking for clues as to his father's whereabouts, and each time at the end of his week shift, he would then set the location on fire.
Now, we know that the game lore and the movie lore don't line up perfectly, mainly the fact that William Afton doesn't have a son in the movie. But the Schmidt children line up really well with the Afton children in the games. And since this is set in the present day, Abby could go looking for answers instead of Michael. Think about it. Abby would be around 35 years old now, and what she saw as a child stayed with her for the rest of her life. She could never really move on. Just like Vanessa in the original movie, Abby is constantly stuck in the past. So when she sees a job opening at a Freddy Fazbear's haunted house, she is repulsed, but she can't help herself from applying. She hates the place, but she also has a weird trauma bond with it. Maybe she even thinks she just needs to face her fears to move on, or she might even want to put a stop to it. After all, the game ends with Fazbear Frights burning down. The first few days, not much happens. That is, until she starts seeing ghosts everywhere. You see, Abby never stopped seeing them as she got older. They're quite literally another thing that haunts her. Even the nice ghosts, her friends, are painful reminders of everything that happened. In the third game, you're constantly jump scared by hallucinations of past animatronics like Chica and Freddy. So in the movie, they could adapt that into actual ghosts.
Man, I love that sound.
Now, in the game, they can't actually hurt you, just scare you. So in the movie, they could try to warn her about who's coming.
Who's coming?
Yep, on her second night on the job, management brings in the empty animatronic that they found in the ruins of the pizzeria.
You're not gonna believe this. We found one. A real one.
And remember who is trapped in the pizzeria at the end of the movie? Yep, it is none other than Springtrap, William Afton's animatronic, and he is not happy.
He's still alive? It's been 25 years.
Yeah, I said it in our breakdown. William Afton never dies. In the game, he lives trapped in that room for 30 years. How does he do it? We don't know, but he does.
Yeah, I find that a little fishy, person.
Dude, it is a movie about ghost children haunting animatronics. Suspension of disbelief, thank you. Plus, it could be his ghost inside of the suit. I mean, his body is definitely inside of it, you can see it in the game, but he could still haunt the suit.
Fair.
So, he shows up and he is angry, not just because he's been trapped in a pizzeria for years, but because they are taking his crimes, his murders, and making them into a gimmicky Halloween attraction. But nothing beats how angry he is when he sees Abby. Abby, the little girl he wanted to add to his kill list, the little girl who ruined everything. He'll do whatever it takes to take her down while he has the chance.
Wait. I thought you said there'd be a parallel plot in the 1980s. Since the second game is going to be a prequel and all that stuff?
There is. So the third game is broken up with a series of mini-games, one between each night. But the games show the original murders and the spring-lock suit, which we already saw in the opening credits and the ending of the first movie. We don't need to see that again. But there's another character who has a long history with Afton that could just be itching to come back.
Vanessa!
Yep, Vanessa is still alive. And unlike Abby, now that her dad is gone, she's able to put her traumatic past behind her. She is able to live a full life again. But then she starts having these dreams that are somewhere between memories and nightmares. You see, in the fourth game, you find out that William created several sets of animatronics for his home. Some were simple nanny cam animatronics to keep an eye on his kid when he wasn't around, but these were also nightmare animatronics. These were the animatronics that stalked the hallways, and they are terrifying. We're not sure why Afton created them. The official character encyclopedia just says, "How did he get here? Don't ask, you don't want to know." But no matter what, they terrorize children in his house. And in the movie, he only has one kid, Vanessa. Maybe once William Afton is released from the pizzeria, she starts dreaming about her childhood.
But how?
Ghost animatronics. These are ghost animatronics. She starts seeing these nightmare visions, and it works because you don't know how much is real or how much is her imagination. It fits perfectly with the nightmare title given to them in the game. And slowly, through these dreams, more and more is revealed to us about what happened in the 1980s. We don't need the entire movie to be set in the past, especially when we already know what happens. But insight into Vanessa's perspective would be really interesting. This could do exactly what the fourth game did. It could give us a window into William Afton's twisted family life. Eventually, she'd see the original ghost children telling her that Abby is in trouble, that William is still coming after her, and she would go to help save the day and put an end to her father's reign of terror once more. But that's only one way they could continue. There are a ton of other options. Emma Tammy said herself that anything could happen timeline-wise, and the original movie cherry-picks things from across the series. So what if they skipped ahead to Sister Location?
But that's game 5.
I know, but it would fit so well. So Sister Location was a major departure in the FNAF game series. It was the first game game where the player could move around, and also the first game that didn't take place at a Freddy Fazbear location. Instead, it took place at Circus Baby's Pizza World. It also featured new animatronics like Circus Baby and Ballora. Circus Baby's Pizza World was also started by William Afton, and once again, you are playing as Mike. You have to go through all the challenges, but at the very end of the game, it is revealed that William Afton's youngest child, Elizabeth, actually died at the hands of Circus Baby, and her ghost is still inside. So, in the first movie, we see that Mike is obsessed with saving his little brother Garrett.
Who took Garrett?
But eventually, he lets it go once he realizes that it would cost Abby. But what if he found out that his little brother was trapped? We never actually see Garrett's ghost in the first movie. We only see the other ghost manipulating Mike's memory of him. What if we never saw him because his body wasn't there? What if he's somewhere else, like Circus Baby's Pizza World? The only thing that would ever get Mike to step foot in another animatronic restaurant is if his brother was suffering. In the games, Circus Baby's Pizza World was open for only a few weeks. Now what if, just like the pizzeria, it's actually been closed for years by the 2000s, and the only person who still has keys is Vanessa. Now, Vanessa would hate to give the keys over, but she'd do it if she thought another child was suffering because of her father. And of course, Mike would never let Abby tag along, but she would sneak out anyways and follow him because, let's face it, he's bad with the ghosts.
Stay away from my sister!
And then they meet Circus Baby.
Wait. I thought you said William's daughter Elizabeth was in Circus Baby.
She is.
But the only daughter he's got in the movie is Vanessa, right?
Well, the only daughter that we know of. I actually think that there's a few different ways they could go with this. The first and probably easiest way is for Garrett to be inside of Circus Baby. It would even explain why William took him from the campground instead of the pizzeria. Circus Baby's Pizza World wasn't open yet, which made it a very easy place to store bodies, but also meant that there weren't any kids around. Also, in Security Breach, Circus Baby eventually tries to kill her brother. Quick reminder on the family tree differences between the game and the movie. In the game, William Afton had 3 children, Michael, Elizabeth, and the crying child. But in the movie, he only has Vanessa. Michael is not related to him, and he has 2 younger siblings, Garrett and Abby.
So in the game, Elizabeth's spirit tries to kill her brother Mike?
Exactly. So maybe their take on that in the movie could be Garrett trying to kill Mike. Maybe being trapped in Circus Baby for so many years corrupted him, or maybe he's just jealous of Abby. Another possibility for Circus Baby is that William had a second daughter that Vanessa doesn't know about. He could have had Elizabeth before Vanessa was born and never told her after she died so tragically. But my favorite idea is that Circus Baby is actually empty at the start, and then it takes Abby. Now, way back when the movie first came out, people pointed out that Abby is an anagram for baby, and Chica tries to put her inside this animatronic that looks very doll-like. It's not an exact replica, but it has a very similar feel. So maybe they were building up to Circus Baby taking Abby in the next movie. The Circus Baby animatronics were built to grab children, and it's not clear if Elizabeth died from the initial grab or if she was simply stuck in the stomach cavity so long that she starved. If it was the latter, Circus Baby could grab Abby, and then Vanessa and Mike would have to save her before she runs out of time. Now, it would be out of order from the original games, but the first movie already is. Again, look at Vanessa. She does not even appear until Game 7. And it would be a bad decision to wait to introduce a new animatronic until the 5th movie. There's a bit more latitude with the games because they came out really quickly and were very quick plays. Plus, Sister Location almost felt like a spin-off of the original series. But they absolutely should not wait that long to introduce Circus Baby and Ballora. These are really cool and different animatronics. Circus Baby's backstory is amazing, and she's so sinister. I think she should be introduced as soon as possible so we can enjoy her. And like I said, there were even hints to her in the last movie. So that's how we think that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will pan out. Do you agree? Do you have any other theories about how they'll incorporate the games? Let us know down in the comments below. And big shout out to the writer of this video, Ms. Brianna McLarty. You can find her social links below. So guys, let us know what you think down in the comments or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.